This guy's name is Limu. Just your average college dude. Single, nerdy, and totally hooked on gaming. He did have a girlfriend once, but she cheated on him and left him heartbroken. Since then, he gave up on love and started posting gaming clips on a social platform, kind of like TikTok. His logic? Lots of girls play games these days, and he's pretty high ranked. Maybe he could score a date through his skills. Sure enough, that very night, a girl named Jiao Jiao messaged him. Hey handsome, can you help me rank up? When Limu checked out her profile, his adrenaline spiked like he just pulled a game-winning combo. Holy crap, this girl is wild. Her page was full of provocative selfies and bold captions. Half joking, Limu replied, sure, 1 selfie per rank. Diamond tier? That's extra. Jiao Jiao replied playfully, you're such a tease, but if you carry me to diamond, I'll make sure to return the favor. For the next few days, he duo-queued with her nonstop, and every time they won, she'd send him flirty voice notes and short videos as thanks. Limu was smitten. She's gorgeous. I have to win her over. Then, just before Valentine's Day, she surprised him with a bold move, asking him to spend the holiday with her, along with a few seductive pictures that nearly made his brain short-circuit. Limu was pumped. She's totally into me. Time to dress sharp and make her mine tonight. The next morning, Limu showed up at the movie theater early, his heart pounding with anticipation. Jiao Jiao's so gorgeous. There's no way she doesn't have guys lining up for her. I better not blow this chance, he kept thinking. Just then, a woman in black high heels and sheer stockings walked toward him, exuding confidence with every step. One glance at her figure, and Limu was certain, Thado be Jiao Jiao. But when she got close enough for him to see her face, Limu completely froze, eyes wide, like he'd just seen a ghost. No freaking way. Isn't this Zhang Xiaoyan, our vocal music professor? So the girl I've been flirting with every night in game is actually my teacher? And even worse, I asked her out and already booked a hotel room. As panic set in, Zhang Xiaoyan turned to him and asked casually, are you Mui? Limu flinched. Muyi was his in-game name. She hadn't recognized him. Relief washed over him. Good thing I skipped most of her classes sophomore year. No way she remembers my face. All right, time to fake it till I make it. He cleared his throat and said, why yeah, that's me. You must be Jiao Jiao. Zhang Xiaoyan chuckled. You're shyer than I expected. From the way you talk in a game, I thought you'd be more, well, creepy. Limu scratched his head, embarrassed. I guess I just get nervous around beautiful women. Zhang raised an eyebrow and teased. Is that so? Because you don't look nervous to me, though your pants seem a little tight. Limu's face turned bright red. If there had been a hole in the ground, he'd have dived right in. Zhang Xiaoyan kept teasing him. Still saying you're not shy? Is this your first real date or something? Limu straightened up, trying to act cool. What? Doubting my experience? You might regret saying that. He lightly tapped her leg, right over her black stockings. She playfully swatted at him. Hey, what are you trying to do? Then, without warning, she sat down on his lap, her black nylons brushing against him. She leaned in, looked at his face, and blushed slightly. You look kind of familiar. Have we met before? Limu's heart skipped a beat. Oh, maybe? Harbor City isn't that big. Maybe we've crossed paths before, huh? Thankfully, even though she looked suspicious, she didn't seem to recognize him. Limu exhaled in relief. With that many students in our department, no way she remembers every face. But after that question, something shifted. She stopped joking, her expression turning quiet as she focused on the movie. After the credits rolled, she suddenly asked, Mui, what's your real name? We've known each other for a while, and I still don't know your last name. Limu quickly blurted something out. It's Zhang Mui. She smiled. Oh, same last name as me. I'm Zhang Xiaoyan. Did you bring your ID, by the way? That made Limu tense up again. Crap. Is she starting to suspect something? He forced a laugh. Why do you need my ID? Planning to get a room? These days you can just book online without one. Hey, are you hungry? Want to grab something to eat? But she shook her head. It's already 9. I don't eat after 6. Gotta keep my figure in check. But I'm feeling a bit tired. Maybe we could find a place to relax. Limu's eyes lit up. Perfect timing. I'm tired too. There's a hotel right outside the theater. Want to head there? As luck would have it, Limu's buddy, Lao San, also showed up with his girlfriend for a movie. He spotted them right away and waved. Yo, Limu, Professor Zhang, what you two doing together? Then he grinned and ran over. Wait, are you two dating asterisk? Man, you didn't even tell your bro? In that moment, Limu knew he was totally screwed. Sure enough, Zhang Xiaoyan's face turned stone cold. She glared at him. Your name is Limu asterisk? You lied to me? Without another word, she stormed off, furious. Limu snapped and shoved Lao San. Dude, are you serious? You just ruined everything. Get lost. Then he bolted after her without hesitation. Outside, thunder cracked across the sky as heavy rain poured down. But Zhang Xiaoyan didn't care. She just wanted to get away. Limu finally caught up and grabbed her hand. Are you crazy? You can't even see in this rain. What if you get sick? She yanked her hand away. Don't touch me. Who do you think you are? Whether I get sick or not has nothing to do with you. Didn't you say your name was Zhang Mui asterisk? Limu, did you recognize me from the beginning? Limu lowered his eyes. There was no more point in lying. Yes, I recognized you from the start. I know I messed up, but can you just let me explain? I didn't mean to deceive you. But Zhang Xiaoyan shook her head. Save it. I don't want to hear any more. I've got things to do. Just as she was about to walk away, Limu grabbed her from behind and pulled her into a hug. Don't go. You were right. I knew who you were from the beginning. But do you know I didn't say anything? Because I've fallen for you. Do you have any idea how happy I was just talking to you? On the nights when you went to sleep early and didn't reply, I literally couldn't sleep. I kept worrying that maybe you were done with me. Honestly, I knew from the start you weren't really that bold in real life. You just acted that way online, probably to keep some emotional distance. I was actually planning to confess on Valentine's Day, but I never imagined Yao or Jiao Jiao. That's why I didn't say anything. I was afraid it would get awkward and you'd just walk away. But I didn't want to lose you because I really, really like you. Hearing that, Zhang Xiaoyan broke down in tears, completely overwhelmed. She threw herself into Limu's arms, hugging him tightly. Sensing the moment, Limu gently said, Hey, let's get out of this rain. There's a hotel just ahead. We could go in and dry off, get some rest. But Zhang Xiaoyan hesitated and pulled back. I'm a teacher. Going to a hotel with my student? That's not exactly appropriate. Besides, I drove here. I could just head home. Limu followed her gaze and saw the car she pointed to. Wait, is that a Porsche? What the hell? How could a regular teacher afford something like that? That moment, something in Limu's heart stirred, a sudden wave of doubt. He looked straight at Zhang Xiaoyan and asked, Tell me honestly, did you come out tonight because you actually have feelings for me? Or was this all just a game to you? If you do like me, come with me to the hotel. If not, just walk away. After tonight, you'll be the teacher again, I'll be your student, and we'll pretend none of this ever happened. Zhang Xiaoyan hesitated, caught off guard by his directness. But seeing the flicker in her eyes, Limu could tell there was still hope. Without waiting for a reply, he gently grabbed her hand and started walking toward the hotel. The rain had drenched them both. Their clothes clung to their skin. Once inside the room, Limu turned to her and said softly, You should probably take a warm shower. You're soaked. I don't want you catching a cold. Zhang Xiaoyan paused for a moment, her mind clearly conflicted. But in the end, she gave a small nod and quietly stepped into the bathroom. Meanwhile, Limu, being his usual cheeky self, tried to sneak a peek, but the frosted glass blocked everything. Damn, who designed this room? Not even a tiny gap. That's just cruel. Just as he turned away, he caught a faint silhouette through the foggy glass, enough to make his heart skip a beat. Oh man, even her shadow is seductive. Her figure is insane. Limu's thoughts spiraled. Is this real life? I actually managed to win over a girl, and she turns out to be my homeroom teacher. Not just any teacher, either. The so-called ice queen of our department, Zhang Xiaoyan. About 30 minutes later, she stepped out of the bathroom in a fluffy white robe. Even though she was covered up, the curves underneath had Limu practically holding his breath. Seeing him soaked and still trembling a bit, Zhang Xiaoyan said softly. You should shower too. You're soaked. He nodded quickly and was done in 10 minutes, nerves buzzing the entire time. When he came out, she was sitting quietly at the edge of the bed. Then, she looked at him and asked, Li Mu, do you really like me? Without hesitation, he met her gaze. Yeah, I really do. Will you be my girlfriend? But then, Zhang Xiaoyan suddenly shook her head. Li Mu, I'll admit I have feelings for you too, but I just can't. Li Mu jumped to his feet, frustration rising. You just said you like me, so why not? She spoke softly, almost like she was confessing a crime. Because I already have a boyfriend. Is that reason enough? Li Mu froze. A boyfriend? You? Since when? No one at school's ever mentioned that. Are you messing with me right now? You've got a boyfriend, and you still came here with me? What are you even trying to do? His thoughts spiraled, the betrayal from his ex-girlfriend flashing through his mind again. Zhang Xiaoyan's voice was cold. There's nothing to figure out. He's out there with other women. So I figured I'd be with someone else too. That's all. Li Mu's anger flared. Are you serious? Your boyfriend cheats, and you don't dump him. You just drag someone else into your mess. She looked away, eyes dull. I have my reasons. Just don't ask. If you're okay with it, then I'll stay with you tonight. If not, just walk away. Either way, please don't tell anyone about this. Li Mu hesitated. If I leave now, I'm the one losing out, right? I'm already here. Might as well go with the flow and see where this night takes me. But just as things were about to escalate, the door suddenly burst open with a loud bang. A guy with dyed green hair stormed in, eyes blazing. You little punk. You seriously trying to mess with me, girl? Li Mu scrambled to grab his towel. Wait, bro, this is all a misunderstanding. The guy didn't care. Without hesitation, he slapped Li Mu hard across the face. The sting made Li Mu's head spin. I swear I didn't know she was your girlfriend. If I had, I wouldn't have gone near her, man. But then the green-haired thug glanced down at something questionable on the floor and landed another slap, even harder. The force knocked Li Mu backward, straight onto Zhang Xiaoyan, who just stepped closer. He landed face first in her chest. Looking up in horror, he knew things just went from bad to worse. The thug completely lost it. That's it, he yelled, waving at a group of goons. They swarmed Li Mu, fists and kicks flying from all directions. Curled up on the floor, Li Mu's mind finally caught up. Wait a second. How did he even know we were here? Is this a setup? A freaking honey trap? God, I'm such an idiot. Of course it was too good to be true. Gorgeous girl walks into my life, out of nowhere. I should have known better. In the end, the guy extorted a full 20,000 yuan out of him. And just like trash, they dumped Li Mu outside, next to a pile of literal garbage. Li Mu gritted his teeth, muttering under his breath. I'll remember this humiliation. Zhang Xiaoyan, you're a bitch. The next day, due to a rough night, Li Mu couldn't keep his eyes open and ended up napping in class. His buddy, Lao San, shook him awake. Li Mu, startled and annoyed, was about to snap at him when he looked up and saw a woman in a long dress walking by. It was Zhang Xiaoyan. Well, this is perfect. I was just thinking of finding her, didn't expect to run into her so soon. Zhang Xiaoyan, who was organizing her lesson plans, glanced up and froze. Him, what's he doing here? Lao San, unaware of the events from yesterday, continued to tease Li Mu. Man, you've been staring at Zhang Laosher for a while now. You've got some guts. He grinned, adding, I saw you two holding hands at the movies yesterday. Did you really manage to charm her? After the class ended, Zhang Xiaoyan called Li Mu to her office. Once inside the office, Zhang Xiaoyan remained silent, her face unreadable. After a long pause, she finally spoke, her voice low. Li Mu, I need you to keep quiet about what happened last night. Li Mu's temper flared. Are you threatening me now? If I don't agree, are you going to call a couple of thugs to barge in, then strip and accuse me of assaulting you at school, trying to pull the same stunt again? Do you really think I'll fall for that a second time? Without hesitation, Li Mu pulled out his phone and played the recording from last night. The moment Zhang Xiaoyan heard it, her expression shifted visibly. Give me that phone. What are you trying to do? Delete it right now. Li Mu smirked, unfazed. Relax, Zhang Laosher. Don't get too worked up. If you don't, I might just accidentally press send. And well, imagine what happens when this recording hits the school forum. Zhang Xiaoyan froze, her expression a mix of disbelief and frustration. Li Mu, what exactly do you want from me? Li Mu silently swore to himself. As a man, I'll get my dignity back. After leaving the homeroom teacher's office, he immediately called his brothers together to meet on the playground. After some digging, Brother Lao San found out that the guy with the green hair was named Tung Fei. Lao San went on, Tung Fei is a total scumbag. He got my girlfriend's roommate pregnant, then dragged her to the hospital to get an abortion. This guy's always ruining girls' lives. Tonight, he's meeting one of our school's girls, and we'll be waiting for him at the entrance. Li Mu was confused. How could Zhang Xiaoyan be with such a jerk? She's not only still with him, but says he's her fiancé. This guy's got the looks of a pile of garbage, yet somehow he manages to hook up with so many girls. The group made plans to meet at the school gate that night and confront Tung Fei. At around 8 p.m., Li Mu arrived at the school entrance, already seeing about 7 or 8 guys waiting. One of the big guys waved at him. Li Mu, you finally showed up. We've been waiting for over an hour, man. What took you so long? This big guy was called Monster, Li Mu's close friend. He stood over 2 meters tall and had muscles all over his body, always working out. Not long after, Tung Fei appeared at the entrance. Li Mu walked up and greeted him. Hey Fei, fancy meeting you here. What brings you to this side of town? Before Tung Fei could speak, 2 burly guys behind him walked up and slapped Li Mu on the shoulder. Li Mu smiled lightly, then landed a punch straight to the guy's face, knocking him to the ground instantly. The second guy rushed at Li Mu, only to be taken down by Monster, who swiftly and expertly tackled him to the ground. However, there was no sign of fear in Tung Fei's eyes, only a smirk. You little punks must be tired of living. He stood with his hands on his hips, a taunting glint in his eyes. You think you can take me on? I'm right here, come at me. Hearing this, Monster's temper flared. He swung his iron rod with full force at Tung Fei. But one of Tung Fei's lackeys quickly stepped in, blocking the strike. Just as Monster was preparing to strike again, Zhang Xiaoyan and several members of campus security stormed in, her voice stern. Are you idiots really trying to fight in front of the school gates? One of the security guards yelled, What do you think this is? Do you really think you can get away with this? You want to be expelled or what? Hearing this, the group immediately deflated. They started looking for a way to escape. Li Mu signaled to the others to leave first, while he stayed behind. Once everyone had dispersed, Li Mu took out his phone and started recording the fallen man on the ground. But just as he did, one of the security guards rushed up and, with lightning speed, punched the phone out of his hand, shattering it into pieces. As Li Mu looked at the broken fragments, a surge of frustration washed over him, but all he could do was sigh in defeat. Li Mu suddenly realized that these people were all working together, a cold chill running through his mind. The bodyguard, who had just been knocked down, grabbed Li Mu by the collar and seemed ready to strike. However, Xiaoyu shouted at him with authority, Stop! She stared at him, her voice firm, Let me handle him. You all leave now. Upon hearing her command, the bodyguards hesitated and backed off. Li Mu and Xiaoyu then moved to a nearby pavilion. Xiaoyu looked at Li Mu coldly and said, This time you've gone too far. Not only will your graduation be in jeopardy, but living in this city will become a lot harder for you. Li Mu, however, was unfazed, his voice dripping with sarcasm. If I can't graduate, I'll just release those recordings you've been so careful about. He said with icy resolve, I've backed them up already. Don't think that destroying my phone will make it disappear. When the truth comes out, both your teaching career and my future will be finished. In a high-rise building, a middle-aged man stood with his back to Tung Fei, speaking calmly. Xiao Fei, I heard you got into a fight yesterday. Which organization did it come from? Tung Fei scoffed, his expression filled with disdain. Dad, who told you I got beaten? These 2 bodyguards weren't up to the task. They got knocked out by a bunch of college kids. The middle-aged man slowly turned around and looked at Tung Fei and the 2 bodyguards. His voice turned cold. These 2 are so useless? They couldn't even complete the most basic task. Looks like I'll have to get you a better guard team. People without useful value don't deserve to stay around. He paused, his tone now more chilling. One day, you'll understand this lesson. Suddenly, 2 gunshots echoed, blood splattering everywhere. Later that night, Li Mu was sitting at his desk, examining the new phone Xiaoyu had bought for him. As he focused on the screen, a message suddenly popped up. "Hey, handsome, are you there?" Li Mu's phone screen lit up suddenly, and a message popped up from a cute little girl. "Help me out. Carry me in ranked. I've lost 3 times in a row. I'm almost at silver." She noticed Li Mu hadn't replied and thought to herself, "It's this late? He must have fallen asleep, right?" Li Mu read the message and couldn't help but grin. No way. A girl is actually messaging me for help. After his earlier bad luck, Li Mu thought, maybe this is my turn to get some good luck. Finally, some romantic luck. Without hesitation, he replied, "Hold on, I'm coming right now." Just as he was about to get to the game, Xiaoyu sent him a message inviting him to join a ranked match. Li Mu glanced at it and immediately clicked decline. Without a second thought, he switched back and dove straight into the game with the little girl, teaming up for doubles. As the game started, Li Mu carried the girl while pretending to be a pro. Enemy team will arrive in 30 seconds. But an hour later, Li Mu's mindset completely shattered. The worst thing in the world is playing with a bunch of noobs. Li Mu complained bitterly as he did over 90% of the team's damage output, only to still lose the match. Sighing deeply, Li Mu turned to the little girl in the game and said, "I've done my best. I swear. I was trying to carry us, but we still lost." The little girl gently comforted Li Mu. "Don't be discouraged, God of Gaming. You're amazing already. If anything, blame those 3 idiots. Their scores are still lower than mine." But by this point, Li Mu's mindset had completely cracked. He thought to himself, this is just too frustrating. So, he decided to end it for the night. "It's getting late. Let's call it a day. We'll play again next time." The girl replied, "Good night. God of Gaming, love you, moi." Li Mu put down his phone with a smile on his face, thinking, oh my god, this girl is so sweet. Just talking to her makes everything feel warmer. Li Mu couldn't help but think to himself, I never realized that ranked players were so popular with girls. I really need to put in more effort. While Li Mu was lost in thought, suddenly, he heard the creaking noise from the bed above him. "You fat ass, get out of here. Do you not hear me? What time is it?" The next day, Xiaoyu summoned Li Mu to her office, and her face was filled with anger. Before Li Mu could say anything, Xiaoyu glared at him. "Didn't I get you a new phone? Why didn't you bring me along last night? Who were you playing with? You were flirting with another girl again, weren't you?" Li Mu chuckled and replied, "Are you seriously worried about me when you should be dealing with your fiancée?" Just as he finished speaking, Xiaoyu stepped forward and pushed him lightly against the desk, her voice now slightly provocative. "Did you find a new girlfriend and stop caring about me?" Li Mu frowned, staring into her teasing eyes, and replied, "How do you know I didn't care about you?" In that moment, Li Mu felt a familiar fire ignite within him. Damn, she's back to being Jiao Jiao. Xiaoyu fixed her eyes on Li Mu, a provocative smile playing on her lips. "That couldn't resist, huh? Guess you're the kind of guy who thinks with his lower half, huh?" Li Mu's eyes flickered with a spark of anger, and without saying a word, he grabbed Xiaoyu's arm, forcefully pushing her toward the desk. If you're the one lighting the fire, then I'll help you burn it," Li Mu said, his hand moving toward Xiaoyu's shoulder, the atmosphere growing more intense. Under Xiaoyu's teasing, Li Mu suddenly felt a rush of heat surge through him. He was about to kiss her, but instead, he encountered something much more bitter. Instinctively, Li Mu looked up, and to his shock, he realized he was kissing a piece of paper instead. Xiaoyu stood up, letting out a deep sigh, her expression a mix of frustration and calm. "What you're looking at right now is the entirety of your college transcript. Our school operates on a credit system, and to graduate, you need to complete the required credits. Based on your current performance, even if you pass all your elective courses this year, you still won't meet the minimum graduation requirement." In that moment, Li Mu's mind flashed with the image of his parents laboring in the fields, and a deep sense of pain washed over him. If I don't graduate, how will I face all their hard work? Then, sitting across from him, Xiaoyu spoke with a softer tone. Are you calm now? How about we make a deal? The reason I'm asking for your help is because there's something I need. If you can help me, I can help you solve your credit issue and ensure you graduate smoothly. Li Mu was momentarily stunned, then immediately asked, What do you need me to do? Xiaoyu didn't give a direct answer. Instead, she smiled mysteriously and said, Don't rush. Come with me to a place, and once we get there, I'll tell you everything. Shortly after, Zhang Xiaoyan hit the road in his Porsche, speeding like a race car driver. Li Mu was terrified, his face drained of color. As soon as they stopped, he started yelling in panic. Zhang Xiaoyan shot him a scornful glance, clearly unimpressed. Then, the two headed into a high-end dress boutique. In no time, Zhang Xiaoyan had picked out a gown and slipped into the fitting room. That moment triggered a flashback in Li Mu's head, a viral video of a couple getting way too frisky in a fitting room. His imagination instantly ran wild. Tempted by the thought, he crept toward the door like a sneak. But before he could get closer, Zhang Xiaoyan caught him and snapped, What do you think you're doing? Xiaoyu glanced around, suddenly pointing to the store's security camera. What are you up to? Maybe you should take a look at the camera first. Then, she casually pointed at a men's suit displayed nearby. Go, change into something decent. Li Mu felt a bit defeated, thinking to himself, Fine, I'll just go with the flow. A short while later, Xiaoyu emerged in a pink long dress, exuding elegance and charm. When Li Mu stepped out, he saw Xiaoyu's eyes immediately light up. She was clearly impressed by something. Li Mu, noticing her reaction, grinned and teasingly said, Wow, little girl, are you mesmerized? Can't deny, you're totally captivated by my good looks, huh? Xiaoyu quickly retorted, No way, I wasn't looking at anything special. She sneered and added, Smelly man, who would have thought a loser like you could actually pull off the suit look? I'm shocked. Li Mu couldn't help but laugh, closing the distance between them. He gently held her chin, looking into her eyes with a playful yet serious tone. So, does that mean you're admitting I'm handsome? Would you be interested in doing something fun with this handsome guy? After exiting the mall, Xiaoyu handed Li Mu a stack of photos, her expression tinged with something complex. Li Mu took the photos and immediately saw the content. Shots of Teng Fei with a schoolgirl in a hotel, clearly taken secretly. Xiaoyu didn't rush to explain. Instead, she said coldly, These photos show Teng Fei and the girl's disgraceful secret. Then, her tone turned somewhat detached, even with a hint of contempt. Actually, tonight is supposed to be my engagement ceremony with Teng Fei. What I need from you is to pretend to be my boyfriend and use these photos to ruin the ceremony. Li Mu was momentarily stunned, his mind spinning. Wait, hold on. You're throwing so much at me. Give me a moment to process all this. Xiaoyu noticed his confusion and chuckled softly. Didn't expect this to be such a shocker, huh? She continued with a sigh. The truth is my father and Teng Fei's father have been close friends for years. Both families only have one child, and so they decided long ago to arrange our marriage. Hearing this, Li Mu finally understood. So that's it. No wonder Teng Fei's such a pathetic guy, truly spoiled and unwanted. Seeing Li Mu stay silent, Zhang Xiaoyan's expression turned cold. She stood up and said, All right, I get it. If you don't want to help, fine. I'll still make sure your graduation goes smoothly. Don't worry about that. Suddenly, Li Mu shot to his feet. Hold on. Who said I'm not helping? It's just Teng Fei, right? And we're only there to make a scene, not start a war. That night, the two arrived at a 5-star hotel downtown. Zhang Xiaoyan held onto Li Mu's arm as they approached her father. She smiled and said, Dad, this is my boyfriend. Her father's face turned dark instantly. Without even looking at Li Mu, he slapped her hard across the face. What nonsense! Say that again if you dare. Shocked, Li Mu rushed to help her up. What the hell is wrong with you? Who hit someone before even hearing them out? You call this being a parent? Just then, Teng Fei walked in, his eyes cold, seemingly sensing that something was off. Li Mu quickly pulled out the compromising photos of Teng Fei and tossed them into the crowd. As the photos hit the floor, Tung Fei's face turned red with fury, his anger erupting instantly. He charged toward Li Mu, ready to settle the score. However, just as Tung Fei was about to act, a cold voice interrupted. "What's all this noise? Today's your engagement day, and look at you. Is this how you want to be seen?" Everyone turned toward the door, where a middle-aged man in a white suit stood, his presence commanding attention. He glanced at the gathered guests and said, "We have enough important guests here. Let's take this inside if there's a problem." The group walked into a more private room, the atmosphere becoming tense and oppressive. Tung Fei's father looked at the photos on the table, his expression freezing. His eyes narrowed with a chilling glare. "Tung Fei, did you do this?" Without another word, Tung Fei's father slapped him across the face, his voice booming. "You idiot! You've completely disgraced me." Seeing this, Xiao Yu's father rushed over with a hint of urgency in his voice. "Old Tung, calm down. Xiao Fei is still young. It's normal for him to have needs." Hearing this, Li Mu was so angry he almost spat blood. Unable to hold back, he snapped, "Hey, are you done with this act yet? The issue is still unresolved. What are you even doing?" As soon as he spoke, the room fell silent, the tension thick in the air. Even Xiao Yu felt a sense of awkwardness. After a long pause, Tung Fei's father looked at Li Mu, his eyes glinting coldly as he asked, "Kid, if you're so upset, then tell me, how should we resolve this?" Li Mu stared at Tung Fei's father, his tone calm and measured. "First off, you should cancel today's engagement ceremony. Tung Fei's actions have already caused both families to lose all face in the public eye. Secondly, for Xiao Yu, someone like Tung Fei isn't worth spending a lifetime with." Li Mu's words immediately enraged Tung Fei, who started bringing up the fact that Li Mu had been caught in a hotel with that bitch. His voice was full of fury. But in the next moment, a single look from Tung Lao made Tung Fei instantly fall silent. Tung Fei quickly apologized to Tung Lao. "I'll make sure to teach this kid a lesson when we get home. We'll call off today's engagement ceremony for now." He grabbed Tung Fei by the arm and rushed him out of the room. At that moment, Zhang Lao patted Li Mu on the shoulder and praised him. "Nice work, kid." Li Mu turned and looked at Zhang Lao, wondering how he knew about Zhang Xiaoyan's plan. Zhang Lao took a deep drag from his cigarette, a smirk playing on his lips. "You think you can fool me with such small tricks? But I'll admit, you did give me a little push. As a thank you, I'll personally take you back." Li Mu, though grateful, waved his hand politely. "There's no need for that. It's not far from the school. I'll just take Xiaoyan's car." But suddenly, Zhang Lao's expression grew serious, his voice low and commanding. "Don't think that just because you helped me today, you're some important figure. Without me, old Zhang, you wouldn't even make it out of this club's front door." Zhang Xiaoyan, noticing the tension, urged, "Li Mu, don't refuse. You've caused quite a stir today. Don't be fooled by how kind Tung Lao seems on the surface. There are likely people outside preparing to take action." After hearing that, Li Mu had no choice but to agree. He climbed into Zhang Xiaoyan's car, closely following Zhang Lao's vehicle. "Wow, this is some serious escort service." Li Mu couldn't help but comment as they passed rows of bodyguards standing on either side, the atmosphere thick with tension. Zhang Xiaoyan explained quietly, "If my dad's car wasn't in front leading the way, we wouldn't have even made it out of here today." Seeing the reality of the situation, Li Mu began to feel genuinely frightened and considered calling the police. However, Zhang Xiaoyan's voice was cold as she told him, "Calling the cops will just get you killed faster. For the next few days, stay low at school and keep your head down. Once things settle down, you can come back and show off again." 3 days later, Li Mu and Lao Xin were sitting in the library, studying hard just to ensure they could graduate. Just as he was settling into his focus, his phone rang. It was Zhang Xiaoyan. As soon as he answered, Zhang Xiaoyan's anxious voice came through. "Get to my office right now. It's urgent." Li Mu anxiously asked what had happened, but Zhang Xiaoyan didn't answer. She only urged him to hurry over. Meanwhile, outside Zhang Xiaoyan's office, Tung Fei arrived with a group of his friends to propose to her, swearing he would never look at another woman again. As Tung Fei was about to approach, Li Mu rushed in and shouted, "This is a school. What are you yelling about? A scumbag like you still has the nerve to come here and propose." Tung Fei had been in a good mood that day, but as always, his rival Li Mu had to ruin it. Worse still, Li Mu had the audacity to challenge him to a one-on-one fight. Tung Fei had planned to deal with Li Mu after the proposal, but to his surprise, Li Mu had come right to him. With all his brothers around, fighting Li Mu one-on-one seemed like a waste of opportunity. Just then, a man in black struck Li Mu from behind with a heavy blow, knocking him unconscious. Tung Fei stepped forward, his voice cold. "Don't worry, I'll take care of you and that little bitch properly." After a while, Li Mu woke up with a splitting headache. He realized he had been tied up in a sealed basement, the surroundings pitch dark. Quickly scanning his surroundings, Li Mu saw Zhang Xiaoyan nearby. He called out anxiously, "Hey, Zhang Xiaoyan, are you all right? Wake up, hurry!" Hearing Li Mu's voice, Zhang Xiaoyan slowly regained consciousness. Seeing the blood on Li Mu's face, she couldn't help but feel guilty. "This is all my fault. I shouldn't have asked you to come here." Just then, the basement door was forcefully pushed open, and Tung Fei walked in with several of his subordinates. One of them was holding a video camera. When Li Mu saw the camera, a terrible feeling washed over him. "Tung Fei, what the hell are you doing? If you've got something against me, come at me. What kind of man attacks a woman?" Tung Fei stepped forward and grabbed Li Mu by the throat. "You better watch closely. Once I'm done, you're next." Zhang Xiaoyan bit her lip, eyes filled with sorrow. "This is all you're doing. Since you didn't listen to reason, don't blame me now." Zhang Xiaoyan struggled desperately, shouting out in fear, but with every scream, Tung Fei became more violent. Li Mu's mind erupted in fury as he watched, his desire to tear Tung Fei apart consuming him. He yelled, "Tung Fei, stop. I swear I'll make you pay for this." But with his hands tightly bound and another burly man holding him down, Li Mu couldn't move an inch. Watching the tears fall from Zhang Xiaoyan's eyes, Li Mu felt a deep pain in his chest, each tear feeling like a blade slicing through his heart. Suddenly, the door to the warehouse was kicked open. At first, Huang Mao thought it was one of their own. But the next second, before he could react, a punch knocked him off his feet, sending him flying with stars in his eyes. It was Lao San, along with Yao Niao and a group of their brothers, arriving just in time. Although Li Mu had no idea how Lao San had found them, his heart, which had sunk into despair, suddenly surged with hope again. Lao San gave him a reassuring glance as he turned to face Tung Fei. "Let's take care of Tung Fei first. We'll deal with the rest once we're out of here." Before leaving, Li Mu had some personal matters to take care of. He grabbed a chair and smashed it straight at Tung Fei. Even with that blow, his rage still wasn't satisfied. Whether Tung Fei lived or died no longer mattered to him. His mind was solely on Zhang Xiaoyan. He took off his jacket and draped it over Zhang Xiaoyan's shoulders, speaking softly, "Don't worry, everything's going to be fine. I'm taking you out of here now." Zhang Xiaoyan, utterly terrified, looked dazed, her face a mixture of fear and confusion. Just as Li Mu was about to leave, Huang Mao blocked his path. Li Mu's expression hardened, his voice cold as ice. "I don't have time for you right now. If you know what's good for you, get the hell out of my way." The sight froze Huang Mao and the others in place, too scared to move. Li Mu's aura had changed completely. He was no longer the same person. His presence was now terrifying, like a predator ready to strike. After leaving the warehouse, Li Mu took Zhang Xiaoyan to a remote hotel, telling her to stay low and not return to school for now. Li Mu was uneasy about his brothers and wanted to go help. But Zhang Xiaoyan, clearly frightened, didn't want him to leave. She told him that as long as he stayed, she would do anything for him. In the end, Li Mu agreed to stay and promised he wouldn't do anything excessive. As Zhang Xiaoyan went to take a shower, Li Mu called Lao San to check in on the situation. Lao San said everything was going smoothly and they were counting their numbers, but then suddenly realized Fatty was missing. Some guessed that Fatty had gone back to school, but Li Mu remembered that it was Fatty who had untied him, and considering Fatty's personality, he never traveled alone. Lao San assured Li Mu not to worry. He would go back and search for Fatty. After hanging up, Li Mu remained anxious and could only silently pray that Fatty was safe. Just then, Zhang Xiaoyan came out wrapped in a towel. She noticed Li Mu's serious expression and immediately suspected something had gone wrong. Li Mu didn't tell her the full truth and simply told her to rest. Meanwhile, Lao San and his brothers returned to the warehouse and split up to search for Fatty. Lao San suddenly noticed a piece of paper on the wall. The contents of the paper made him break out in a cold sweat. Tung Fei's still alive. He wants Fatty's life. He's demanding $2 million at 7 in the morning at the abandoned factory across the street for the exchange. The situation just got a lot more complicated. Lao San immediately contacted Li Mu, who, upon hearing the news, grew tense. Knowing Tung Fei's nature, Fatty was likely in serious danger. Despite knowing it was a trap, Li Mu decided to face the danger alone. This time, it wasn't for a woman, it was for his brother. Tung Fei's ransom demand was something Lao San could meet, but he suspected it was a ruse to lure Li Mu out. Li Mu saw through Tung Fei's true intentions, but still, his determination to save Fatty remained unshaken, even if it meant walking right into a trap. Lao San suggested a plan, and once everything was set, the two of them would split up and execute it. Li Mu, alone, carried the ransom and headed to the meeting point. Seeing that Li Mu actually walked in, Tung Fei was slightly surprised, but a cold smile soon appeared on his face. "Did you bring the goods? If it's even a little less, you won't leave here alive." Li Mu held the box in his hand, slowly shaking it. His voice was cold as he replied, "Everything you asked for is in this box, but first, I want to make sure the fat guy is okay." Tung Fei chuckled darkly, snapping his fingers behind him, signaling his men to bring the fat guy out. As soon as the fat guy saw Li Mu, he shouted frantically, "This is a trap. They won't let you get away." Just as Li Mu was processing this, he suddenly felt a chill on the back of his neck. He turned just in time to see Huang Mao silently sneaking up behind him, raising a stick to strike. However, Li Mu was ready. With a quick bend of his knees, he sidestepped, narrowly avoiding the blow. Huang Mao missed completely, crashing into the floor with a loud thud. Li Mu looked down at him with a sneer. What a fool. Li Mu seized the opportunity, swiftly swinging the briefcase and smashing it into Huang Mao's face. Huang Mao didn't have time to react as the briefcase hit him hard, and Li Mu sneered, "Did you really think I was that stupid? You call that a sneak attack?" As Huang Mao crumpled to the floor, Li Mu added coldly, "You just stay down, good for nothing who only knows how to ambush." Li Mu then turned to Tung Fei, fury burning in his eyes as he spoke with a voice sharp as a blade. "Tung Fei, if you're a man, then face me in a fight. Stop using these dirty tricks. I'm done with your games." Tung Fei's face darkened with rage, his grip tightening around the knife pressed to the fat guy's throat as he snarled, "You stupid kid, don't you know your place? If you move again, I'll send this fat guy straight to meet death." Li Mu had already expected Tung Fei to go back on his word. He sneered and said, "You just want the money, right? Fine, I'll give you everything you want." Before Tung Fei could react, Li Mu slammed the briefcase hard into his face, the impact producing a heavy thud. Taking advantage of the moment, Li Mu shouted, "What are you still standing there for? Come on over." Tung Fei looked down and immediately realized the floor was covered in paper money. His expression changed as he realized something was seriously wrong. Furious, Tung Fei exploded in rage, shouting, "Everyone get them! Kill them! If they get away, none of you will make it out alive." Just as the situation reached a boiling point, the sudden sound of police sirens rang out across the area. Tung Fei froze in his tracks, his face turning pale as he rushed with his men toward the back exit. The fat guy, seeing this, thought Li Mu had called the cops and whispered, "Li Mu, did you call the police?" Li Mu chuckled and patted the fat guy's shoulder. "No worries, it wasn't me. In fact, the siren sound was just a recording by Old 3, played through a speaker system outside, scaring Tung Fei and his crew into retreating." Li Mu gave the fat guy a reassuring pat. "It's all good. Nothing to worry about. We'll deal with the rest when we get back." That night, The group celebrated their victory at a local bar. Li Mu raised his glass first, addressing the fat guy. "This one's for you, for everything you've been through because of me. I'm really sorry." The others chimed in with praise for Old Three's brilliant plan, congratulating him for keeping everyone safe. Old Three humbly smiled and said, "It's nothing, just some things I picked up from my old man." Old Three's words sparked curiosity among the brothers, and they began guessing about his family background. Old Three smiled faintly, a hint of complexity in his eyes. "Actually, my family has been in the military for generations, but I chose to go into art." Li Mu had long sensed that Old Three was not ordinary, and suddenly it clicked in his mind. His father must have been a special forces soldier. No wonder you can gather so much information. There must be a powerful network behind you. Li Mu joked, "So that's how you found me in Xiaoyu, huh?" Old Three chuckled and nodded. "Brother Mu, you're sharp as always. Nothing can slip past you." After waking up, Li Mu realized it was already past noon. He picked up his phone and saw it filled with unread messages, his expression frozen for a moment. A few messages were from his gaming friend Xiaoyu, asking for a ranked match, another from his mother notifying him of the suspension of his allowance, and yet another debt collection reminder. The sudden onslaught of bad news weighed heavily on Li Mu's mind. He sighed deeply, thinking to himself, "At such a young age, why am I dealing with so much pressure?" He replied to Xiaoyu, "I need to pick up a part-time job, so I won't have time for gaming for now." To his surprise, Xiaoyu responded with an unexpected opportunity. "I'm putting together a new team, offering a 2,000 yuan signing fee, and I'd like to invite you to compete." This money was undoubtedly a lifeline for Li Mu, reigniting his hope. However, what he didn't know was that Xiaoyu was actually using this opportunity to search for her missing brother, with much more at stake than he realized. Meanwhile, after Xiaoyu confided in her father about her ordeal, she received a cold-hearted response. Instead of condemning Teng Fei's actions, old Zhang coldly remarked, "This just shows how charming my daughter is." Even more chilling, he insisted that she marry Teng Fei, just to leverage a better position in business negotiations. Xiaoyu, heartbroken, protested, "I have someone I care about." Before she could finish, old Zhang slapped her across the face, coldly saying, "I don't care who you like. You are my pawn. If you dare to like that boy, I'll make him disappear." He turned to his men, barking, "Lock her up." Locked up, Xiaoyu's heart shattered, realizing that her life had always been controlled by her father. Meanwhile, Li Mu, a young man without money, power, or education, was discovered by a professional coach because of his gaming talent. During a random match, his skills caught the attention of a mysterious figure in the audience. The day of the competition arrived, and the rules were the same as usual, but this time, the participants were required to use computers to compete. Xiaoyu handed Li Mu the first contestant registration form, where every key detail had to be filled out. Not a single one could be missed. Li Mu didn't expect this small competition to be so formal, which made him feel a bit nervous, and he couldn't help but start to worry a little. Xiaoyu noticed Li Mu's nervousness and reassured him, "Don't worry, with your skills as the god of gaming, this competition will be a piece of cake." She asked Li Mu to finish filling out the form and get ready, while she went to the bathroom for a quick break. Meanwhile, Old Three, who was out shopping with his girlfriend, suddenly received a message from Li Mu. Li Mu, eager to show off, wanted to tell Old Three about the girl he'd just met, feeling a bit smug. After seeing the photo Li Mu sent, Old Three paused for a moment. This girl looks so familiar. She must be the campus beauty from the foreign language department. He couldn't help but sigh. "Li Mu, your love life is going crazy lately. You've got a beautiful teacher and the campus queen both throwing themselves at you." Li Mu frowned when Old Three mentioned Xiaoyu, and he muttered under his breath, "Don't mention Xiaoyu. She's been causing me so much trouble lately." Still, Li Mu couldn't help but think that maybe this campus beauty might actually be someone he could get close to. Just then, a mysterious figure suddenly clapped him on the back and said in a deep voice, "Si Chi, is that you? What are you doing here?" Li Mu turned around and saw a tall man, his presence striking and strangely familiar. But as Li Mu turned, the mysterious man quickly withdrew his hand, his expression turning awkward. "Oh, sorry. I must have mistaken you for someone else." However, the silhouette had looked too similar, and the mysterious man, still slightly surprised, apologized and explained, "My bad. Your figure reminds me so much of an old close friend of mine." Li Mu was deeply focused on playing Honor of Kings when he noticed the mysterious figure standing nearby. The mysterious figure suggested, "How about a solo match? I haven't played this game in a while, just felt like trying it again." Li Mu agreed with a chuckle. "I've got a match coming up soon. Let's call this a warm-up. Just don't cry if I beat you too badly." The mysterious figure responded with a smile. "The only person who could beat me now is probably that old friend of mine." Meanwhile, in the restroom, Xiaoyu was jotting down some information. As she wrote, she was suddenly flooded with memories of her childhood. "Brother, next time I want to ride the roller coaster and the bumper cars. When you grow up, I want to be your bride. Then we can always be together. I don't care. I don't care. I just want to be with you forever. You'll marry me." At that moment, they were not blood siblings, but had developed a complex emotional bond despite not sharing blood ties. "Since you like your brother so much, you'd better behave. I don't like girls who throw tantrums. When you grow up, if you still like me, then we'll get married. You're so sweet. Next time, I'll take you to the water park." However, every time he returned home, the shadow of his father's beatings haunted him. His father would coldly say, "Spending all your time on this stupid game, thinking it'll feed you? You'll never amount to anything. I won't support a useless burden like you. Brother, where you going? Don't leave." Eventually, he couldn't bear the life his father imposed on him and decided to break free, ending this life full of disappointment and pain. Later, it was revealed that his brother had emerged as a star in the esports world, but after a single loss, he suddenly disappeared, and from that day onward, no one knew his whereabouts. As Xiaoyu thought about this, she suddenly realized the god of gaming not only excels at gaming, but he also has a whole crew around him. Maybe with his help, she could find her brother. "God of gaming, are you ready? Why are you breathing so heavily?" Suddenly, Xiaoyu felt like she had seen the person who had just left somewhere before. Maybe it's just my imagination. After the mysterious person left, he couldn't help but feel impressed, thinking, Li Mu is full of surprises. He's a promising talent. I'll have to find a chance to bring him in and nurture him properly. In Andrew's eyes, any game could be won by simply dominating with equipment and leveling up, but this young guy proved through his actions that genius is 30% luck and 70% skill. Let's rewind to 10 minutes earlier, where the two had just finished preparing for their solo match. Before the duel began, the mysterious figure introduced himself. "My name is Andrew, and I'm the head coach of the Supremacy Professional Esports team. I used to be a player myself, but due to certain circumstances, I no longer compete." Li Mu finally understood why the mysterious man had been so confident, but he also knew his own skills weren't just for show. "I'm Li Mu, a junior in college, and I've been playing this game for 2 years. It's a great opportunity to face a pro player. It's a chance to test my skills." Though Andrew was the head coach of a professional team, he knew all too well that his players had enthusiasm but lacked true talent. He preferred to nurture people with real potential. So far, he had only met one absolute genius. This person seemed to be born for the game, with unparalleled talent, but after certain events, he suddenly disappeared. He was the only real competitor and friend Andrew ever had. Unfortunately, Andrew made the one mistake of his life, and after that, the talented player disappeared. If he ever had the chance to meet him again, Andrew would give up everything to make up for that mistake. After hearing this story, Li Mu felt a new sense of emotional connection to the game, as if it was no longer just a competition, but a battle for life itself. He remembered reading the news once, where the champion's prize money was said to be worth millions of yuan. If he could make a name for himself in this field, it might just be the pinnacle of his life. But he knew all too well that no profession was as easy as it appeared on the surface. What just happened? My Juga avoided all my skills. I couldn't land a single hit with my Li Bai in the beginning. I got completely preempted. No wonder he's a pro. This feels totally different from casual play. Li Mu realized that his opponent was completely different. Every move seemed to be meticulously calculated. However, the next thing that happened was a second death, leaving Li Mu with an overwhelming sense of defeat. His economy and level were falling farther behind, and if this continued, it was clear that he would lose. Even though his opponent was a professional, Li Mu refused to lose the game in such a shameful way. Just then, he suddenly felt his heart rate spike, and his head started to throb with a painful heat. His condition was obviously not right. Andrew, noticing Li Mu's condition, immediately paused the game and said, "You don't look well at all. We need to get you to the hospital." However, Li Mu waved his hand, signaling that he just needed a moment to recover. Andrew, still concerned for Li Mu's health, decided to end the match quickly. But when Li Mu regained his composure, he suddenly transformed, his gameplay becoming calm and meticulous, with eyes that reflected the same determination and focus as Siki's. Andrew's heart skipped a beat. Could it be that he and Siki are the same kind of player? Typically, top player strategies can be studied and countered, but geniuses evolve, adapting and improving even under pressure. At that moment, Li Mu's every move was completely unpredictable to Andrew, balanced between calmness and speed. However, the game ultimately still depends on equipment and leveling advantages. In the end, Andrew clinched the victory with the economic lead he'd built early on. Even so, Andrew couldn't help but admit that if the playing field had been more even, the outcome would have been anyone's guess. After the match, Andrew said to Li Mu, "You're really impressive. If you're interested in esports, come find me at Supremacy Club. Also, universities are holding esports tournaments soon. You should sign up. I'm sure you'll make a great showing." With that, he turned and walked away. After Andrew left, Li Mu slumped at his desk, breathing heavily. He felt like he had just lost consciousness, almost like he was a completely different person. But in the end, he still lost the match. Meanwhile, Xiaoyu was worried about Li Mu's health and quickly asked, "Are you feeling all right?" Li Mu explained, "I'm fine, just met an opponent who was way too strong. It took a lot out of me." He mentioned that his opponent was the head coach of a professional esports club. The moment she heard this, Xiaoyu's mind immediately jumped to clues about her brother. She urgently asked, "What does he look like? Can you describe him?" Li Mu thought for a moment and replied, "He wears glasses, and despite his young age, he already has white hair. He has a very unique aura." Xiaoyu quickly pulled out a photo from her bag and asked, "Is this him?" Li Mu looked at the photo and immediately nodded. "Hey, how do you have a photo of him?" "Yeah, that's definitely him." Xiaoyu added, "He's very well known in the esports world. He led his team to win the world championship 4 years in a row, but after a critical loss in the finals, the team disbanded. Now, he's the founder and head coach of Supremacy Club." Li Mu couldn't help but say, "No wonder he's so strong. He must have an incredible background." However, Li Mu was also puzzled. "What's strange is that my solo record shows I've beaten him before. I don't remember that at all." Though losing to a professional player wasn't embarrassing, Li Mu's mindset remained unshaken. If anything, it only made him more determined to continue his journey. Xiaoyu silently thought to herself, perhaps through Andrew, she could uncover the truth about what happened years ago. That night's match, Li Mu won easily with his excellent gameplay. On the way home, Li Mu bought Xiaoyu a cup of milk tea as a token of thanks for her constant support. As they walked and talked, Li Mu confessed, "I used to be like a lazy fish, completely lacking ambition. But today's experience really sparked my interest in esports." However, danger approached quietly. A group of uninvited guests suddenly appeared from behind and covered Xiaoyu's mouth. The sound of the milk tea hitting the ground instantly caught Li Mu's attention. He spun around and angrily shouted, "What do you want?" "Let her go." One of them sneered, "Want to play the hero and save the beauty?" With that, he punched Li Mu, knocking him hard to the ground. As his consciousness blurred, Li Mu thought with frustration, "If only I were stronger. how different things could be. Just as he was about to lose consciousness, another strange version of himself appeared in his mind. The voice coldly said, "You're too useless. Give your body back to me for now. I am you, and you are me. Now, please sleep." The voice was resolute, "because I won't allow anyone to hurt Xiao Yu." Soon, they dragged Xiao Yu to a car parked nearby. Xiao Yu was still struggling when the blonde thug snapped. "Tisich, what's wrong with this girl? We gagged her, and she's still squirming." He pulled out a small spray bottle filled with an unknown liquid and sprayed it directly in her face. Within seconds, Xiao Yu's eyes glazed over, her limbs weakening as she slipped into a dazed state. "If I'd known this stuff worked so well, I wouldn't have bothered gagging her," he sneered. "Let's get her to second brother. Once we deliver her, we're done." One of the goons asked, "Hey Chow, what do you think second brother's going to do to her?" "Who knows?" Chow replied with a cold grin. "But knowing him, he's not going to give her a quick end. He's the type to make people beg for death before the night's over. You two, sit in the back and keep her under watch." Just then, a hand reached out from the shadows and slammed down on the blonde's head, smashing his face against the side of the car. Thud! His body collapsed like a puppet with its strings cut. No sound, no movement. For a second, silence. Then chaos. The others turned, shouting in fury. "It's you again? You really have a death wish, don't you? You're dead meat for messing with us." Limu looked at them coldly, his gaze filled with icy determination. "Enough talk, bring it on. All of you come at me." The thugs, enraged, gritted their teeth. "Damn it, how dare he look down on us?" With a roar, they rushed at him in unison. "Kill him. Beat him to death." Moments later, all the thugs were lying on the ground, knocked out cold. No chance of fighting back. Limu sneered. "Is this all you've got? A bunch of trash." His eyes were sharp as he spoke, his voice icy cold. "I suggest you never lay a hand on that girl again, or next time, it won't just be a few bruises." After speaking, Limu opened the car door and found Xiao Yu lying unconscious inside. He gently lifted her in his arms and carried her away. What is happening with the black forces in a city? Limu thought to himself. I can't even avoid them anymore. Almost got her involved too. They arrived at a hotel where Limu settled Xiao Yu, and the two of them ended up sleeping together on the same bed through the long night. The next morning, Xiao Yu slowly opened her eyes. She groggily glanced at Limu lying beside her. Xiao Yu's face immediately flushed, and she screamed. "Ah!" Grabbing the pillow, she threw it at the still sleeping Limu and yelled, "What did you do to me? Why are we sleeping together? How'd I end up in bed with you?" Limu sat there, holding the pillow, looking around in confusion. "Where am I? What's going on?" He glanced around and froze in surprise. "Huh? Wait, what is this place? A hotel? How do we end up here? And we're sleeping in the same bed." Xiao Yu's memory started to come back, and her eyes widened. "I remember now. Those thugs. It was you who saved me and brought me here." Limu, completely blank on the situation, felt a pang of guilt as he thought to himself, I wanted to save her, but all I remember is getting knocked down. What happened after that? Did I really bring her here? What is going on? Did I really save her?